Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lindsay Hartness. I am the community manager at Creatively Disruptive. And I have Ashley Stewart with us, a account manager here at Creatively Disruptive. And today we're going to be talking about why and how you should go about raising your class prices. This is something that I think a lot of gym owners are so nervous to do. They're afraid that there might be problems caused by that, and they're not ready to take the leap. So, Ashley is going to tell us about how this works, how we've seen it work successfully for other gyms, and some of the ways to go about doing that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so why should you raise your prices? Well, inflation is happening right now, and it may be the next 12 to 18 months, which means that things are getting more and more expensive. And if you're going to buy new equipment, pay your coaches a living wage, cover all your overhead, you're going to need to raise your prices. One thing that this enables you to do is raise your coach pay. So what you should actually do is research what the coaches get paid in your area and try to hit the higher end of that. Remember that you want to try to help your coaches build careers so they see it as like a long-term employment situation. That's really great for your students if they're able to grow with the same coach. So if you're able to pay your coaches a living wage, you're able to retain them, which in turn helps your students have that sense of security and safety with the same coach and not having different people flow in and out of their lives, out of their classes. You want to grow your gym and become more profitable, so that's another reason to raise your prices. One other thing it will enable you to do, which actually is a great thing, is if you raise your prices enough, you'll actually be able to provide scholarships for kids who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford your classes. So you can raise your prices enough, put some money aside, and designate that money for scholarships for kids who actually can't pay the monthly rate. Raising your prices a little bit every year. So I'm not talking about a huge price jump. What we usually recommend is $10 a year. So if you're charging $80 a month for classes, you're going to charge $90. But it also keeps you, just raising them a little bit keeps you from getting in a position where you have to raise your prices by a lot when you suddenly realize, like, oh my gosh, I have all these bills, I have all this overhead, I have to buy new equipment, I have to pay my coaches, I'm going to need to raise prices, and then you need to raise them by $40 or something. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So you want to raise them a little bit every year. Now, let's talk a little bit about when you should raise your prices. So December and January is probably not the optimal time because parents are struggling with bills from Christmas and the holidays, but you could do it sometime in the spring or even in the fall when your registration period opens in the fall and the kids are going back to school. That would be a good option. You just make it very clear that you're only raising it by $10. There are multiple ways that you can inform your clients that you are raising prices. So you can send out a text if you have like an umbrella texting system, like from iClass Pro or Jackrabbit, where you can send out a mass text to all your customers. You can send out a text that says we'll be raising prices by $10. You can send out an email. You can create flyers that you will have at your front desk that you can pass out to people as they come in. You can also have your front desk staff know, let parents know when they are dropping off or picking up kids from class. You can also put out signs. So one of the reasons you really want to do this is, especially if you have a wait list. So say you have like 50 kids on your wait list, you raise your prices by $10. Now you may lose some of the kids in your classes because they don't want to pay the extra $10 a month. Now, you can replace those kids with kids from your wait list. You can also use social media advertising, Google, in order to draw new people into your gym. So don't worry about the customers that you lose, because you will be able to replace them through advertising channels. So those are the reasons that you really want to raise your prices every year. If you do it every year too, people become accustomed to it. So don't worry if you haven't raised your prices in 5 years. If you only raise them by $10 this year, you won't lose the majority of your clients. And if you do lose some, you'll be able to replace them.
Right, absolutely. And I think that it's something that should be expected, and probably is expected by a lot of people. They don't expect you to charge the same thing for years, because everything, they understand everything costs more. You have to pay your coaches more. So they will understand. And I think another thing to note is just don't over explain it and feel like you have to justify why you're raising your prices to the parents. If you're making a small price increase that's consistent over time, so maybe you're doing it once a year, then it should just be part of your annual process and you don't have to apologize for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, so like Ashley was saying, digital marketing is a huge part of the whole process for having success with this plan. If you aren't driving demand, if there's no demand for your classes, you might have a harder time. You might lose some kids and you might not have the demand to fill them. So you really need to be utilizing digital marketing. And we have several ways that we can help you with that. The first is just getting into our gymnastics business and marketing Facebook page. If you're not in that already, that is a great free resource for you. And that's at the link in the bio of all of our social media platforms. You can join that group. And then we also have a do-it-yourself marketing solution where you can learn everything that we would do for you if you were a client of ours, and that's called the Gymnastics Revenue Toolbox. So that's where you'll learn how to market your gym. And then, of course, we offer full service marketing solutions if you want to hand it off to us so you can focus on other things. So whichever way you choose, we want to help you. This is a proven system. Lots of gyms have done it before and been successful and been able to grow and actually scale their business. Instead of just kind of staying at the same pace year after year, they've been able to scale and grow and retire and have retirement income. So it's a plan that works. So thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to talk to us today. Okay, well, if you all have any questions, just comment them on this video. We will answer them even if they come in later. So thank you so much for taking the time today.